To wear my new X-Men hoodie and Spider-Man t-shirt for this video. I just want to give you guys a nice look at this hoodie I got. It's Xavier Institute 1963. Very proud of this purchase. Welcome back, true believers. We're going to be doing another unboxing video. This month, our Marvel Collector Core box is Ant-Man themed in honor of the movie coming out in about 2 weeks' time. Now, I have to admit, I was not entirely excited about not only this box, but I'm also not entirely excited about the Ant-Man movie. And that's not because the movie doesn't look that interesting to me. Ant-Man as a superhero, I've never really been that interested in. I've paid attention to the storyline and to the extent of like, well, he's a key Avenger character and he has at least some interesting story arcs, but I've never found him to be one of the superheroes that really sort of draws me to the Marvel Universe. Even though he's got a lot of personality traits that I think fit in very well with the Marvel Universe. I don't think I would ever say though that Ant-Man is like in my top favorite superheroes. He's probably like, he's okay, but I'm not like, I don't go nuts for him. So needless to say, I was a little iffy on this Collector Core box, but if it's anything like the last Collector Core box where, you know, you get a t-shirt, Funko Pop, and a couple other small things that I might really enjoy, then it all is worth it in the end. All right, I am prepared. Let's get this started. And much like the first Collector Core box, we have more interior design work. This one, of course, themed with Ant-Man style panels, which you can see there, which I think is quite nice. And then once again, we also have Collector Core style pins and badges, with very much in the same vein as the Age of Ultron patches and pins that we got in our last box. So this one, the Collector Core patch, features Ant-Man's face, which makes sense. And then you have a Collector Core pin, which again features the same Ant-Man face. So these, I think, if they're going to keep these going as a running thing in the Collector Core boxes, I do like these. I just, again, for certain characters, I'm not super interested. So it's like, it's okay, it's not great, but you know what, now I've got like a running collection of Collector Core stuff. Okay, opening it up, and woo! Okay, so first and foremost, there's quite a lot of figure action going on in here. So we've got a, ooh, no, it fell out, and now I'm really upset that it fell out. But we have our Funko Pop, which I think I will start with this every time because this is the thing that I'm most interested in as a Funko Pop collector. So we have an Ant-Man Funko Pop. This, I guess, is the edition without his helmet because on the back, they have art that indicates that there is a edition with the helmet, and then there's also a Yellow Jacket, who is the main villain of the movie that's coming up. And there is, and I want to show you the main character that I got, which is his helmetless version. But I'm very sad because you can see like right there, there's something that's supposed to be in there. It fell out. It's a mini version of Ant-Man, and he's just rolling around in there. You can hear him rattling around in there. Kind of go back into place. This one advertises itself as the Funko's smallest bobblehead. Obviously, if you were in his proper position, I would show it to you, but I can't really. He's just kind of rattling around in there. But I actually quite like this. I like the idea of Funko doing something a little bit different. They did have the Hulkbuster, which is one of the biggest designs that they've done, excluding the, you know, 9-inch vinyl figures of characters. But for this, they're going in the opposite direction of like making the smallest. So I'm like, okay, that's a really interesting idea. I'm just afraid I'm gonna lose this thing and it won't stand up. And it's like, and I guess for some people, like, cause they don't open these things up and they don't like take the figures out. I do, I take them out and I enjoy them. But I only have 2 Funko Pops that have not been taken out of their boxes. The one being the Hulkbuster that I got in my last Collector Core box, and a Stan Lee Funko Pop that I got at Fan Expo Canada about 3 or 4 months ago, I want to say. I really do like this. I think it's a really cute idea. I'm just concerned about possibly losing the miniature figure once it's out of its own box. But otherwise, it's a nice design. I really like it. All right, moving on to the next one. We now have 2, and I don't really know why we have 2. We have 2. So we have 2 Funko Bobblehead Ant-Man edition blind boxes. So I've never been a huge fan of blind boxes unless I know exactly what I'm getting into. So like the only time I've ever bought stuff from blind box is when I'm at a vendor at a convention and they allow me to open up a box, and if it's a character that they don't have on display at the moment and I really want another one, they'll let me trade. I'm interested to see what these two, because you get 2 of them in this case, so I guess you get 1 of the 4. It says 1 in 4 chance of each, collect them all. I'm gonna open these up and just see what we get, because there's no point in delaying the inevitable. Plastic. Okay, so the first one is the helmetless version, which I actually think is really adorable. This is really cute. So I've got 2 helmetless versions of Ant-Man right now. One in this little sort of bobbleheady version, and then the other one in the Funko Pop edition. So we're just gonna set you down right there. I really hope I don't get another helmetless one that's like, I like the helmetless version, but I don't want multiples. Yay, and I don't get multiples. Okay, so this I actually kind of like, because I didn't want just multiples, so many things of Ant-Man. I got Yellow Jacket. So this is actually really cool. I like his design. I think this is really interesting looking, and I will put these up with my Dorbs of Ultron that I got in the last Collector Core box. So these are really cute, actually. These are really adorable. And then next we have the t-shirt edition of this box. So this looks to be an Ant-Man t-shirt that is advertising the movie. It has the same graphic and typeface that the movie is using. And then there's also a little graphic of Ant-Man when he's small. And I have a feeling this is in ties with Funko, because it looks a lot like the same design that Funko does on their for their characters. So yeah, as you can see right below the Ant-Man logo, there is a Ant-Man and it says actual size. And it looks a lot like the Pop Funko that came with this little thing. So I don't know, for this one, I'm not as thrilled about this t-shirt as I was for the Age of Ultron shirt. Like, this is still kind of nice, and it's a well-made shirt and everything, but I don't know, something about it just kind of comes off as a little lazy. And I don't want to call Marvel lazy, and I think this is really just me being like, this is not one of my favorite superheroes. This is basically a lot of merch leading up to a movie that I haven't been hugely looking forward to. So, I don't know, to an extent I like it, but and I'm sure if I was a bigger Ant-Man fan, I would be much more thrilled with this, but for the moment, I'm okay with this t-shirt. And again, it's a size small for men's, which will fit me. The Age of Ultron shirt that I got in the last box fit me very well. Again, I just wish that there was a female size shirt that I could switch to, because Marvel, you got to admit, about half of your readers are female. Create a female sizing system for this box set and maybe create a better design for the women. I don't know. Because I feel to an extent men are much more okay with wearing like just blatant advertising t-shirts like this. Women, I think, for the most part, want something that's a little bit more, I don't want to say cuter, but it's like something that is a little bit more eye-catching, is a little bit more graphic, and is a little bit more different than what you would normally see. This, I feel like I could just pick it up in a store almost anywhere that just kind of screen printed the Ant-Man logo from the movie on it. And then, you know, the only interesting thing about it is that Ant-Man is the Funko design that is right there, and it's like actual size. That's actually kind of interesting because it mimics the advertising that they've done for the movie, which I think is a brilliant advertising campaign on behalf of the marketing team for Ant-Man. And then last but not least in this box, we have another comic. So Collector Core Ant-Man is what it says. And it says issue number 5 variant editions. So this is likely the Ant-Man comic that is going to be leading into the movie and sort of setting up the plot for the movie. So there's a bit of a blurb here to give a bit of backstory. I'll read this to you guys just so we can have an idea of what we can expect in about 2 weeks. When the original Ant-Man, Hank Pym, retired from the job, another man rose or shrank to the occasion, or stole the costume. Scott Lang, with his somewhat sordid past somewhat behind him, Scott took on the size-changing ant-communicating abilities of Ant-Man. Recently, Scott moved to Miami so he could be part of his daughter Cassie's life. He opened a security firm called Ant-Man Security Solutions and hired an employee, Grizzly, a formerly vengeful ex-con in a bear suit. Their first job, though, turned out to be a distraction while Casey was kidnapped by Augustine Cross. Who? Why, none other than the head of Cross Technological Enterprises and son of the deceased Darren Cross. You know Darren. That guy that Scott sort of killed. It's fine. It was all because Casey's heart is full of Pym particles, and therefore the only one that could take the strain of being transplanted into Darren Cross, bringing him back to life. Dr. Sondheim, who saved Cassie's life years before, was blackmailed into performing the surgery. To hack into the ultra-high-tech Cross enterprises, Scott and Grizzly enlisted another rehabilitated supervillain, Machine Smith. Between the three of them, Scott infiltrated the building with no problem, but was then stomped on by none other than Darren Cross. Unfortunately, that's not a metaphor. So, I'm kind of, I don't know, part of me is concerned. I mean, again, going in as somebody who's not a huge fan of Ant-Man and does not really pay much attention to this particular storyline, I'm kind of worried that Marvel is digging themselves into a bit of a hole trying to launch so many characters into the cinematic universe that potentially work better in comic form than they do on a screen. Like, Ant-Man, I don't know. I don't feel like this version that they're doing of Ant-Man is going to particularly work for an audience that is not used to reading comic books. I mean, when you're reading a comic book, you to an extent you accept a level of absurdity and ridiculousness. So the concept of Ant-Man doesn't really throw me off. It's just I never found him particularly engaging or interesting as a character, other than the fact that he was another genius on the Avengers team. We have Iron Man, we have Beast, we have Mr. Fantastic, we have Spider-Man, and Ant-Man. Like, and there is more. That's the thing. Like, there are more geniuses throughout the Marvel universe, and Ant-Man, to me, one of the most interesting storylines that dealt with Ant-Man was his creation of Ultron, and they retconned that in Age of Ultron when they did the movie version, and they made Tony Stark his creator, basically. I don't know, something about this just seems a little like, okay, we're gonna do Ant-Man, because as someone who loves Marvel Comics, I don't want to dislike a Marvel movie before I've even seen it. And I try to not have too much of preconceived notions before I go into a movie, especially a Marvel movie. But to be 100% honest, this is the first time I've really sort of doubted a Marvel movie's ability to translate its character from the comic book to the film version. And that's after movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, where everyone thought no one was going to be able to adapt that storyline and those characters. It was too out there, it was too far-fetched. It was a bridge too far for a superhero movie, and they made it work. They made it a sci-fi epic in the same vein as like Star Wars, but still in a superhero universe. I don't know if they can do the same with Ant-Man, and that's what's kind of making me nervous. So, by and large, I'm not thrilled with this particular box of Collector Core. I mean, I'm sure if you're a person who is far more into Ant-Man than I am, you probably love this. I do like the designs that they're going with for the movie, and in terms of the overall look of the movie, I don't mind it, and especially like the way that they designed the Funko Pop and the way that they've done these little guys. Like, I really like how they're done. To me, my main concern is story. I don't know how much of this I'll keep or use, really. But for the most part, I still don't feel like I've wasted my money. I don't feel like this is stuff that is absolute garbage. Like, oh, I paid $50 and how dare they just give me crap. Like, no, the stuff is worth what I paid. It's just stuff that I didn't particularly get much out of. An Ant-Man comic, I don't read Ant-Man. He's one of the superheroes that, like, when I go to a comic book store and I pick up my comics for the month, and you know, sometimes I'll browse around and I'll have a look through, see if there's anything that kind of catches my eye that looks interesting. This, to me, does not scream interesting. Like, even looking at the artwork on the inside, I mean, I don't want to start bad-mouthing, like, artists and stuff, because I understand how hard it is to do an entire comic in a month. I worked at a studio for my internship with many comic book artists who work under Marvel and DC titles. Some people you might know, Ramon Perez, Marcus Toe, Francis Manipool. I worked under those guys, and you know, I understand how hard it is to produce quality artwork in such a short amount of time, especially if you're also writing it. But I mean, just looking at the artwork on the inside, it looks pretty, in my opinion, it looks pretty mundane. The coloring isn't particularly interesting. There's no real interesting lighting dynamic going on. I'm not I'm not seeing anything just flipping through the pages that immediately catches my eye, especially in contrast to the one that we got last month from Collector Core. Like, I started flipping through that and I was like, damn, I really want to start reading this. And literally after I finished that video, I sat down and read that comic. And it was a pretty good read. It was a pretty interesting comic. I wanted to continue reading the rest of it. But this, I'm just like flipping through it. I have no interest in this. It's nothing that like catches me and interests me on a level where it's like, I have to have that. I have to read that. If you guys like these unboxing videos, please let me know by liking the video and commenting below. Also, if you would like me to get back to reviewing movies like I used to do on this channel, you know, I used to do a thing called movie reviews, then please let me know by subscribing to the channel and commenting in the videos, letting me know that you guys want to see more of those, because I kind of need the motivation to get back to it. If you guys are interested at all in that, then please like, comment, favorite, subscribe. Welcome, true believers, Welcome, true believers, to the Marvel Collector Core unboxing video. This month, we received an Ant-Man edition of the Marvel Collector Core. Sorry, my eyelashes just got stuck together, and I don't know what the hell that is all about.